With the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America.
of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Liberty.
Roll call, please.
Wyatt. Here. Sewell.
Here.
Cook.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
And Reister is absent. I'm going to say he's probably an excused absence.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda, do I have a motion to approve that? And you'll notice too, then it's approving one city council meeting in December on December 16th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's comments, commendations. I do want to commend the junior class on their Veterans Day program yesterday. I think they recognized over close to 60 veterans. And so I want to thank them for recognizing all of our local veterans. So, okay, we'll move into citizens' requests and oral presentation. Mary has the library survey for us.
Thank you.
Here, blown by.
There we go.
I know that you guys can read very well, and I don't need to read the details, but I always do kind of mark some highlights and some bottom lines on this. The first section is kind of general information that doesn't change from year to year since we aren't going anywhere, but just in general contact information. And then the second section, section B, is staff and salary information. If you look at B8, this is for fiscal year 2024, so ending June 30th.
Okay.
Total staff FTE, we were at 3.37 equivalent, full-time employee equivalent. And that covers 49 hours open a week for 52 weeks.
How is that compared to like last year?
It's up 1/10.
Oh, sorry.
Where we had a tiny overlap in between Zach and Ambry.
Sure.
So it's usually very static. You know, we have a set schedule and that's what everybody works. If they're gonna be gone, they find their sub and so it really doesn't fluctuate. We have just extra staff in on Wednesday afternoons. That would be our most expensive time to be open because of sheer numbers of kids in there. So anyway, that, you know, really is a static number year to year. Skipping ahead to the next page. So B13 is the hourly salary of the director. B15 is the average salary of all Hudson department heads. That's a question the state always asks. Section C, capital income. We didn't have any capital projects, so that's a whole bunch of zeros there. Not much to talk about. So that gets you ahead 2 more pages to operating income in the D section. Our total operating city income received was $261,783. And then county income received was $18,491. That was actually down some from the year before, but that's totally based on our circulation to rural residents. So there's, you know, other than forcing people to move into rural Hudson Blackhawk County, there's nothing we can do to affect that number. Dunkerton has, just the way the county is laid out, we have less rural resident circulation because we run Hudson right into Cedar Falls. You know, we have a smaller rural
Mhm.
donut around us than a town like Dunkerton, where everything outside of Dunkerton is rural, Blackhawk County, so. Let's see, state income received was 3,687. That was actually down $353. Of course, we don't have any control over what the state gives us either, so. So in D16, total operating income received was 291,195. The next section is operating expenditures. If you look at total staff expenditures in D19, that was 245,939. That was up because of the two citywide wage increases mid-year last year. So that had the same effect as it did on everybody's budget, I'm sure. The total physical collection expenditures in D25 was 26,238. And then in D34, the total downloadable and electronic collection expenditures was 7,767.
Are you seeing that going up?
Yeah, because the circulation for that continues to rise every year.
Okay.
So I do. And they don't get any cheaper. I mean, if I want to get the new John Grisham, because I see that my patrons are on the list, but there are 300 people out for that coming to them.
Mm.
I'll buy a copy of it and it would probably cost me $95.
Yeah.
And I have it for 2 years. It's really
Okay.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Again, something that is not in our control.
No.
We have, part of that would be what we put into the consortium for service to our residents. The other part would be that extra spending that I use in what's called the Bridges Advantage program, where I buy specific things for our specific patrons. Those things stay exclusive to our patrons for a year. And then for the second year of the life of that electronic item, it goes into the consortium. Because by that time I'm done with it and I don't want it to go to waste. So, but it keeps it, you know, it keeps it available for our people first. So the total operating expenditures was 323,700. Then you get into the collection itself. If you skip ahead to E8, the total books that we have, print and ebooks. Well, in E4, the total books we own, physical in-house, 28,918. Total books, print and ebooks at the end of the fiscal year was 131,554. You can see how much being a member of that consortium adds to the items that are available for our patrons, you know, in one way or another. It's huge. We could never own 131,000 books, but we can make them available to our patrons. Total audio materials, E16 is 51,485. That's physical and downloadable. That's the way I use Bridges the most personally, is I always have an audiobook on, especially if I'm working around outside or whatever. Video, we don't have in E22. The consortium, the Bridges program, does not really have videos. And so that number is just what is in our collection, 2,131. I really expected to see a reduction in use of videos, but that's not really happening either. It was down 79 from the year before, which
Okay.
is not enough to even count one way or the other.
So that's your like like DVDs?
DVDs.
Really?
That circulation is still that high. And I think it's because of, you know, all the buzz is, there's more of a recent push that people are ditching their
Absolutely.
subscriptions. So
Mhm.
I just re-advertised them in the lock ad a couple weeks ago, just to remind them, you know, we have them and you don't have to pay. You just can check them out, so. So I'm glad to see that since we own those, it's getting good use. The problem is they're not releasing as many.
No.
And
Frustrating.
it's taking longer, so, you know, I've got some requests for some DVDs that I don't know if I'll ever be able to purchase. And, you know, some of them were mainstream movies, but first they're trying to force you into streaming, and that's why they're not releasing the DVDs, the companies that are making the movies, and then after a while, maybe 6 months, a year, who knows, they might then release a DVD after they've saturated that other. So kind of an unfair advantage, but there it is. Other library materials held at the end of the year in E26 was 502, and that's mostly our library of things. This year, the main thing we added to that is games, board games and, just games.
Do those get good use then?
They do.
Good.
They do. And they get good use in-house too. We have lots of times kids will ask if they can use one of the games, so. Total physical items held at the end of the year, 33,621. Downloadable items, 152,051, for a total of 185,672. Overall, that was up 3,119 throughout the year. That's good. E33 licensed databases we subscribe to Transparent Language, which is a great language learning tool. We have two databases for genealogy research, search, Heritage Quest and Ancestry, the library edition. Those are both funded by our foundation. And then the World Book database for the online encyclopedia. That gets good use, especially more so during the school year. And then the state library subscribes to BrainFuse for all of the libraries, and it's a product that you can use for continuing education, and it has a special section just for veterans who are searching for jobs. That also is a valuable product to have. All those can be Ancestry you have to use in the library. The others you can set up in the library or from home and use remotely. So, circulation, section F. If you flip down to F8, total physical circulation was 14,485. Then total use of downloadable materials in F21 was 4,625. That was up, you asked if that was up 396. But it continues to rise every year. And I expect it will. Especially as people get more used to using the electronic materials, and as the population, the ones who don't want to use that age out, and then, you know, the younger ones are all on board, so. If you flip to F27, total collection use, so that's total circulation of physical and downloadable items at Hudson is 25,402. Interlibrary loans that we received from other libraries for our patrons was 377. Interlibrary loans that we provided to other libraries was 622. We sent out about double what we borrow. Of course, there are a lot of libraries in Iowa, and a lot of them much smaller than us, so that affects that. Current total of registered users in F34 is 3,705. That went up 251 in that fiscal year, and that's a number that also, with Hudson's growth, continues to climb. Our door count was 18,972.
Which really is kind of I think reflects on the services that you provide, because most of our growth is in the northern area, but they're coming in and using
They are.
our library rather than,
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it matters too that, the kids go to school here.
Right.
So they're in town.
Yep.
You know, it's not like they have to choose, do I drive to Cedar Falls or do I drive to Hudson to use the library? They're coming to Hudson anyway.
and anyway, sure.
Yeah. Number of uses of public internet computers is 3,452, and that was also up, that went up by 108, which isn't a huge number, but in light of everything else, I guess I would have thought that with more people that have their phone in their hand, that maybe them using our physical computers, you know, would drop, but it's not. And then the total number of wireless sessions using our Wi-Fi, 2,749. That was up 2. That's a good service to be able to provide. Some people in there who think their service is out of Trayer and somebody cut the cable, so they
Oh,
were
no,
in the library using
just
using
today?
our computers today.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw it online today.
yeah.
Somebody cut something.
So anyway, you know, it continues to be useful for people that are down for whatever reason, or they need to print something and their printer's out of ink or won't work or whatever it is. F44 website visits is 4,073. Pretty steady traffic. And F48 asks about if we charge fines. We only charge fines now on Wi-Fi hotspots because of their value. The electronic games, again, because they might be a harder thing to get back. And that's pretty much it. A few of the things in the library of things, but all materials that have to do with literature, books, audios, children's books, all that is fine free now. We were bringing in so little that it was a no-brainer at that point, you know, it was not a revenue stream for us. And by the time you figure the staff time,
Mhm.
sending out all the notices to get a nickel back,
Yeah.
you know, it just wasn't there, so. We're glad to, and it was a hurdle for some families, especially with children. So it was really nice to be able to take that step. Library programs. These next pages are really minute information about programs for children 0 to 5, and then children 6 to 11, and then young adults, and then adults age 19 and older, and then general interest for all ages. So just go straight to G47. I mean, you can read all that other stuff, but G47 is the total number of library programs. That was 368. Total number of people attending live library programs was 3,583. That's the bottom line with all those combined. It asks through there where you see some of the zeros about remote programs. We tried that during COVID and it's just never successful. People don't want to sit at home and stream library programs.
Yeah.
Either they're going to come in or, you know. So Zach did some really good science things back then, and even with the quality of those, you know, he would get a few kids, but never really took off.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. Then you get on to just other patron-directed activities, and this all arose during COVID too. You know, we were putting out craft kits in the entryway, and you could stop and pick them up, and coloring pages and things like that. We put our story walk in the window because we don't have the posts and don't have a real good place to install the posts. So, H1, we're open 3,068 hours a year, 49 hours a week. And then the rest is just square footage of the library, hours open, weeks open. Any questions about anything? No?
Again, just really want to thank you and your staff. You provide some excellent programming
Thank you.
for all age levels, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, I hear from other people that they're jealous of our library, so.
Yeah,
think it's wonderful.
Well, they should come down. Iowa has open access.
It's a great, it's a great addition to our community for sure.
I always love it when people are new to town and they say, oh, we couldn't wait to come in here. They scope out the town, they're looking for a place to live or a place to build, and the library attracts them.
Absolutely.
So,
Good. Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
All right, we'll move into committee reports and recommendations, personnel admin committee meeting. Chrissy, you're gonna,
Yep, I can do
okay,
So we met on Monday, October 28th at 4:45. We had one item on the agenda. It was to discuss, the copier agreement for City Hall. The current agreement ends, January of 2024. We're going to stay with Access Systems, who we are currently with and who the police department is with as well. So City Hall staff is not printing as much, so our cost is going down almost $100 a month for a new copier. And that item is on the agenda for tonight, and we adjourned at 4:51.
any questions? Okay, we'll move into public hearing. Public hearing regarding the preliminary plat to the Taylor Minor plat. Do we have any, written,
No, I don't.
any oral? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. We'll move into general government then. Item A, discussion action to approve resolution 3299, a resolution to certify the population of the newly annexed territory into the corporate city limits of Hudson, Iowa, and that's the Bavers annexation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Sewell,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0.
Okay, item B, discussion action to approve resolution 3300, resolution to certify the population of the newly annexed territory into the corporate city limits of Hudson, and this is the Powers annexation.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call?
Lawson.
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Item C, discussion and action to approve resolution 3301, a resolution for approval of the preliminary plat for Taylor preliminary plat. So,
These and that.
I know, it's well, it's, dividing it into 3 parcels. Right.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Wyatt.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0.
Okay. We're all set then.
You're good.
Item D, discussion action to approve resolution 3302, a resolution for approval of the 3-year maintenance contract and lease agreement for the city of Hudson, Iowa. And that was then for the copier printer. And like Chrissy said, it went down to almost $100 less. And we're getting a kind of a smaller
Yeah,
machine.
we're getting a small machine because we're not doing near as much printing as
Right,
we used to.
right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call?
Sewell.
Aye.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, item E, discussion action to approve resolution 3303, a resolution to approve the purchase of the old fire tanker for the Public Works Department for the city of Hudson, Iowa.
Second.
Discussion?
I'm gonna find somebody who knows how to use it manual.
And this, and there's an,
Not just tankers. it's also, tankers and parts for-
and there's also, then you guys have agreed that if they need it for something, it's gonna be available for them if they have,
What year is that truck again?
67.
The 1967?
I thought it was a 76.
I think it's a 76.
I think it's a 76. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but.
Yeah.
It's old.
It's
Yeah.
vintage.
It's a 76. It was like 20 years old when I got on the department. Approximately, so.
Page yourself there, Dale, just.
What can I say? I drove it, so.
All right, so, motion,
Motion and second.
do we? Okay, I couldn't remember. Roll call?
Lawson.
Aye.
Cook.
I,
Wyatt.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-0.
Okay, there are some informational items in the packet. Reminder items, regularly scheduled meetings held at council chambers except the library board. Public Works Committee, November 13th, Mayor's Task Force, November 19th, Public Safety Committee meeting, November 21st, Personnel Admin Finance on November 25th. And next council meeting will be Monday, November 25th, and then the one in December on December 16th.
Do we know if we'll be having a personnel admin meeting in December?
I don't know, probably not. Typically in December, we don't meet.
If we did, I think we met
We
like,
would meet on the 16th.
on the 16th. if
That's
we
what I
needed.
was wondering. It would be the same night as the council meeting if we do.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion since Matt's not here.
Do I have a,
second it.
okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
You're
We-
opposed?
No,
You're opposed?
we are adjourned.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, everyone.
So who's building? Who's building?